Speaker, to the bill.
To the bill.
My first thought when I heard that we were going to be called into special session was, why? What had changed? 9 months ago, we adjourned sine die. We didn't have another collapse in the financial markets. Unemployment hadn't shot up 15 or 20 points. It was a head scratcher. And I was reminded of, I'm going to borrow an old cliche, that a statesman governs for the next generation and a politician governs for the next election. And it occurred to me that over the course of the last 9 months, events transpired within our communities. Millions of dollars were spent, and no, I'm not talking about the Olympics. I'm talking about the level and the degree of respect that we showed to our fellow Oregonians and to the voters and to business owners and to corporate executives as we were campaigning for the new legislature. And I wondered if perhaps really the cusp of the problem, if you will, had nothing at all to do with economics, had nothing at all to do with the business entities that we're looking at, and if maybe the problem is that the challengers and incumbents in some cases, I wondered if we didn't provide and show the level and degree of respect for Oregonians that we ought to have in our campaigns. You reap what you sow. And if we as leaders, as elected leaders of our state and of our community, fail and refuse to respect the voters enough to have honest dialogue, to refuse the easy path of creating straw man arguments, of creating something evil that isn't necessarily always evil, and then beating that drum to victory that's short-term and short-lived, and ultimately diminishes us as leaders. We are faced with a homegrown Fortune 500 company that has donated millions to support our state. And no, I'm not just talking about executive jobs. I'm not just talking about the kind of jobs that lift people out of poverty. I'm talking about raw donations to educational institutions and athletic facilities and research facilities. I couldn't imagine a stronger corporate citizen for our state. And yet at the same time that I can't imagine a better corporate citizen of our state, I can't imagine a corporation starting business in another state that would want to move here. If Oregon is going to have the prosperous future that I believe all of us want it to have, if there's going to be a place for our children and our grandchildren to either lift themselves out of poverty, to help their neighbor with a hand up, to make sure that we make Oregon a prosperous state with a burgeoning middle class that we can all be proud of, and yes, with people that attain the level of success that they can be called rich. If we are ever going to achieve those things, as leaders, we have to look to ourselves first. Are we taking the low road to our offices? Are we respecting our neighbors? Are we pushing and supporting policies that are both fair-minded and intellectually honest all at the same time? In my opinion, we are here today because some of our most prominent citizens aren't so sure that we're there yet. And they're not so sure that we'll get there on February 1st. So we'll be voting on this bill, which is an excellent bill, that'll create a whole lot of jobs, that will provide perhaps a level of integrity and predictability to one of our corporate citizens that has been excellent. But it's my hope as we move forward with our state that we rethink and realize the reason why we even had to be here today in the first place. And it ultimately begins with us.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion?